All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone. We're glad you could join us this morning or afternoon, depending on where you're dialing in from. Before we get started, just a quick housekeeping note. There's a chat function within Zoom, so feel free to anytime post a question. We'll get it answered either through the course of the presentation, or I'll also stay on for a few minutes at the end to take questions as well. So hello, I'm Brian. I'm the National Practice Leader here at Nava, and today we're going to walk through our approach to employee benefits brokerage, who Nava is and what we do. So I promise we'll keep this to roughly 15-20 minutes, and we'll have some time at the end for Q&A if there are any. So you can see the headline here. We spent years speaking with hundreds of stakeholders in our industry, HR professionals, members, other brokers who are on the front lines of this. And the sentiment's pretty universal. It's this unfortunate conclusion that benefits are simply painful for employers. They're not getting a whole lot better. And this problem is essentially why Nava exists. We just think about the inputs for a moment. They're expensive. Family premiums the last 12 years have risen almost $700 each and every year. That's simply unsustainable for employers, and I'm sure it's no surprise to the folks on the call here. And then there's this burden that it puts on HR to manage what's a pretty clunky, pretty antiquated industry on behalf of their employees. Surveys report about 20% of HR's time is spent just on benefits administration and benefits management. And then after all of this, it's incredibly confusing for employees. Half of employees can't even identify their own benefits package. They don't know what's available to them, and they don't really know how it works. And candidly, I'd argue that it's pretty frictional compared to just about any other consumer experience that you can think of. And so we solve these problems in some unique ways, all under this concept of making great benefits easy for mid-sized employers. That is our North Star. We are an employee benefits broker that does three things we believe exceptionally well. Number one is supporting our members with a modern benefits experience year-round, reducing some of that tedious administration that tends to suck up time and energy in HR. And the third is just building our clients a great renewal strategy and then executing against that strategy. So this approach worked for us. I mean, our NPS score is right up there with Apple. Our retention rates are some of the highest in the industry, and we're only getting better. Additionally, I think 9 out of 10 members have reported having a better understanding of their benefits after engaging with us. Those are two data points that we are fundamentally proud of. So we wanted to take a few minutes and just start with what we would argue is actually the most important part of all of this. It's the employees and their families. At the end of the day, the member is who we're doing all this for. They are the actual end user. And what we've heard from almost every employer that we talk to is that their employees come to them trying to understand what benefits they have, how to access them, and then how to get support when they find themselves stuck in the system. So with this as a backdrop, we've adopted a unique approach to bridge this gap using technology. Our core delivery mechanism for that employee experience is the Nava Benefits app. It's free. It's a member-facing app that's designed to help employees understand what benefits they have, find and use those benefits so they get the most out of them, and then get help when they ultimately need it, which most of us do at some point in our benefits and healthcare journey. And so if we double click into some of the key features, the first is just access to the insurance ID cards. All of our plan details are in one place, makes it really simple to send a digital ID card to providers, really at 1 or 2 clicks into the app. We have in-network search provided within the app. So providers, all the relevant information is available, whether they're in-network, out-of-network, what languages they speak, their locations. If they have cost and quality information, that's available as well. We also track deductible spend and out-of-pocket maximum. So at any point during the year, a member could go in, basically take a click into the app, see where they're at relative to their deductible and out-of-pocket maximum, so they have that clear financial visibility. And then lastly, billing and claim support. So our benefits experts are there to help members with whatever benefits related or healthcare related issues or questions come up along the way. And on that note, behind all of this is real human support from Nava's team of benefits advocates. So employees can message in-app for assistance with a host of issues, whether it's enrollment, whether it's plan summary explanations, maybe they can't find the right provider they're looking for, they just need clarification on a bill they received. All of those things our advisors help them with day in and day out. And I did want to make a point here that this is not an outsourced call center. These are full-time US-based Nava employees, and we are very intentional about this. If we aim to change how the member experience exists with benefits, we need to own that experience tip to tail. And so our commitment and our promise to HR leaders is essentially to transform that employee benefits experience at the member level, um, elevate their understanding, streamline the processes, address questions that, again, will come up along the way, and then ultimately lighten the burden that HR has within that benefits ecosystem, just from the time and energy that it takes to respond to those and continue to manage that employee base from a benefits standpoint. So switching gears now to benefits administration. We like to think about the benefits experience through that back office concept. And so what do we mean by back office? Those are those tedious things that suck up time and create friction and frustration for HR. And at the end of the day, benefits tend to become time consuming because for a lot of folks, when they do bubble up, they're a fire drill. They're personal, they're stressful, they're immediate, and eligibility is almost always inaccurate. And the constant auditing of it becomes very tedious, as I'm sure folks on the call are probably aware. And compliance is always at the top of the list and always kind of nipping at our heels in terms of things that we need to do and get filed and get filed on time. So Nava steps directly into that space for our clients as the benefits back office. We handle all of your eligibility. So for the vast majority of enrollment systems, we also step in and own the setup of that system and the ongoing eligibility process to the extent that our clients want us to. And then we audit all of it to make sure that it's right and that it stays right. Our technology compares our clients' eligibility systems to the carrier bills and feeds to ensure that it's accurate and that it stays that way. So the idea is that we won't have any more employees sitting at the pharmacy wondering why they're not showing up in the system. And if there are errors, we work with the carriers to correct them for you. And of course, our compliance department works with you year round to make sure all your plans, filings are compliant and done on time. So switching gears to the last pillar, which is the renewal strategy. And I love this term, renewal experience. And I use that term specifically because when we talk to HR professionals, what they're really describing is an experience. It's often a journey. There's highs and lows, wins and losses, and we hear some common themes. The first one is that information is delivered too late and with too few options. You get your renewal at the last minute. You have to make a difficult, usually pretty stressful decision on a really tight timeline. And if you do have options, you don't have time to properly explore them, especially if it's something unique or complicated or that hasn't been presented before. And unfortunately, what ends up happening is employers tend to leave money on the table as a result, or they get stuck in the wrong plans for their strategy. So we solve these problems by creating a renewal experience for our clients that delivers better benefits, lower costs, and ultimately less stress. The first thing that we do is just tightly manage the operations of our brokerage through technology. Every tiny detail of our client service journey, of which there are hundreds in a year, sometimes thousands, are captured and managed. And what that means to you is that you can expect full transparency into our process. You don't have to guess what's happening when. Your renewals and then all the options that go along with them are going to be delivered on time with very little surprises. And then tactically, it's our job to put the right solutions in front of you that deliver on that broader strategy. Frankly, most organizations should seriously consider having more innovative solutions within their programs, but too often they just haven't been explored or haven't been explained correctly. One simple example is just alternative funding options, even for smaller companies, and I would argue especially for smaller companies. They may very well choose not to go in that direction for a variety of legitimate business reasons, but our commitment is that we're going to be able to look our clients in the eye and say proudly that no stone has been left unturned and that we've explored and vetted every alternative, innovative solution in the marketplace for you that makes sense for you, and certainly those outside of sort of the traditional BUCA options. And that leaves you with a renewal that's delivered with plenty of time. Every viable option has been vetted, and you've made a fully educated, data-driven decision, and hopefully a little less stress along the way. And so as we think about making great benefits easy, when we talk to our clients, we hear three main outcomes. The first is just happier employees who engage and use their benefits. A level up in that back office support for HR through those eligibility and audit services. And then, lastly, that low stress renewal experience where we're delivering that renewal on time and you have all the appropriate options for consideration. And it's really easy for obviously for someone to stand up and make these promises, but we do take our commitments very seriously. Nava is the only brokerage that offers a 100% money back guarantee. If at the end of 1 year we have not held up our commitments to you, you are free to walk away from Nava and we will return 100% of our compensation to you. At this point, I usually get asked how many of those have happened. I'm very proud to say that no client has ever needed to use it, and we aim to hopefully keep it that way. So with that, that concludes the formal part of the presentation. And I'll maybe open up the chat for questions. And if not, certainly my contact information is in the invite. And if there are questions you'd like to take offline, I'm certainly willing to do that. And we can connect that way. All right. Well, if there aren't any questions, we'll go ahead and conclude the session for today. Thanks everybody for joining and look forward to hopefully connecting with you soon. Take care.